Hello, this is Maciek, the Diligent Linguist. Today I'm very happy and excited to show you the A2 pre-intermediate flashcard deck that I have designed and recently published as part of my Polish app project. There is already a video on my channel demonstrating the installation of the Mochi application and the A1 beginner flashcard deck, together with the included bonus packs, 3 bonus packs. So this time I will only concentrate on the installation of the new collection. Just like before, the current version of Polish app contains 2 zip files, one with the main deck of virtual flashcards and the other one with the 3 bonus decks. I mean 3 bonus decks per level. So 3 decks for A1 and 3 for the pre-intermediate A2 level. Let's open the main zip file, unpack the A2 level Mochi file onto the desktop. All right, here it is. And let's import this new Mochi file into Mochi Card apps. Remember that it may take some time to import. The deck contains over 3,000 new cards. So together with the A1 level, Polish app now features approximately 6,270 flashcards. Like before, I tried to include around 99.5% of the words that you can find in the Hurra po polsku series of textbooks. I have added several new types of relations between individual cards, and if I'm not mistaken, the total number of relation types is 107 or perhaps 108. One of the most interesting types of relations are augmentatives, augmented forms, such as miska. Okay, miska means a bowl, and misa indicates a large bowl. But to be honest, there are just a couple, maybe a handful of such forms at the A2 level. Furthermore, a lot of pre-intermediate cards contain relations that bind them with the existing beginner level cards, so that you can integrate new material with the words and expressions that you have already memorized. At the A1 level, there were initially around 5,000 relations, links between cards. Then I eliminated some of the least useful and the most ambiguous ones, so the number dropped to around 4,900. At the A2 level, there are over 3,400 new relations, which are very important, especially as the words get more complicated in terms of both form and meaning. You need to be able to connect them to something more tangible, or perhaps something that your mind can recognize. This time, I also decided to significantly reduce the number of uncategorized items, the other miscellaneous items. So what did I do? I grouped noun phrases together with nouns and verb phrases together with verbs. Now, I'm going to show it to you in a moment. The main benefit is that in the leader and expert versions of Polish app, you now have access to grammatical forms of larger expressions. Now, the first thing to do, if you have not finished studying the A1 flashcard deck, is to temporarily archive the new pre-intermediate one. Otherwise, you will have to study twice as many cards each day. So I'm on a computer, so I'm going to just right-click the new A2 deck and select Archive Deck. You can see that the box here becomes empty. So now we don't need to worry. And again, remember that the initial number of flashcards to be studied is twice too large, twice too high. It's a small kind of bug in the Mochi application. So each time you study one card, actually it's counted as 2. So, and then the calculation is correct later. So we see that we have actually studied one card from the A1 deck. Anyway, let's have a look at the new cards. Nouns first. Ul, beehive. As you might remember, I use 3 main criteria to decide which words you should study first. The length of a given word, its popularity, so how often it is actually used, and productivity, meaning how many other words we can create using that specific word. So there are only 2 letters in the word ul.
Ul. Ule, uli, ulów.
So, well, it's the main reason why it appears as first among the nouns. Let's have a look at the next one. Yes, orzech, edible nut. And we immediately have a popular collocation. The word orzech will often appear with the adjective kaloryczny, high calorie. That comes as no surprise. But the next word is very interesting, bakalie. And actually, for the more advanced students, you notice that the same word appears in the Polish definition. Bakalie is a term that indicates dry fruit and nuts together as one category. So orzech is an example of bakalie, a word that very often, if not always, appears in the plural form. Then we've got 4 specific types of nuts. Migdał, almond, nerkowiec, orzech nerkowca, so cashew nut, orzech laskowy, hazelnut, and orzech włoski, walnut. Naturally, you can use these associations, you can use these links, but you will also learn these individual words in due time, unless you have already seen them at the A1 level. We've got the word category food. Remember that if you're confused by the meaning of any of the icons, little pictograms above, just look at the tag with the matching color. Gender, masculine, inanimate. Next. Oh, yes, I did mention that I included noun phrases together with nouns. So let's look for the tag phrase inside the deck with nouns. What have we got here? Przystanek tramwajowy, tram stop, zaimek względny, relative pronoun. Oh, that's more complicated. But look at this. Another word related to food. Wafel ryżowy. Rice waffle or rice cake. I like the latter definition. I think it's, equivalent, not definition. I think it's as close as possible to the Polish meaning. So we've got the pronunciation, of course.
Wafel ryżowy. Wafle ryżowe, wafli ryżowych.
And some related items, such as kromka. It's a slice, but it's only used when you're talking about bread. A slice of bread. Here, it resembles a slice of bread. It's very, very similar. So it's like a type of kromka. We've got any types of wafer and similar products. So wafel ryżowy. We see that it's rice cake in English, but in Polish it's considered a type of wafer. And then it's an element of the group pieczywo chrupkie. So it's a type of crisp bread, even though some people may relate it, because crisp bread, different types of crisp bread are often considered a low calorie food or dietary food. The same thing is said about wafle ryżowe. So these words are related, and sometimes wafel ryżowy, rice cake, will be considered a type of crisp bread. Now that's a topic for a separate discussion. Let's have a look at verbs. What could I show you here? Let me see. Oh, kłaść, położyć. All right, that means to lay something, put something down in a certain place. Now, the opposite is to zabierać, zabrać, so take away from a place. We've also got more specific terms, such as odkładać, put back, przekładać, put somewhere else, or wykładać, take something out and lay it somewhere, put it down somewhere. We've got a related action, przykładać, so apply something or put something on or against something else. I can think of having a headache and applying, I don't know, for example, ice or something cold to my head. That's when I would use the word przykładać. And we see that kłaść, to lay, to place something, to put something down as well, is more specific than the term umieszczać, to place something or to position something in a given place. Of course, we've got the imperfective forms and the perfective forms available together with the respective pronunciations.
Kłaść,
So,
położyć.
the infinitives, the imperfective
Kładę,
forms,
kładziesz.
and the perfective
Położę,
forms.
położysz.
All right, perhaps one more. Oh, yeah, we've got a lot of verb phrases here. Something simple, być w stanie. Okay, to
Być
be
w stanie.
able. We only have imperfective forms here because to be able does not have a perfective form. It is not something that can be accomplished, completed, performed until the end. So we also learn that być w stanie, to be able, is synonymous to the verb móc, to the modal verb móc, which is very similar to the English can. And maybe one more expression. How about... Oh, nice one. Brać pod uwagę. Take into account, take into consideration. And it is synonymous to another verb, uwzględniać, which also has a similar meaning. Take into consideration or include while we are discussing something or considering something. So it's a verb of thinking. And we've got an expression, brać pod uwagę. Look, it's not take into, it's take under in Polish. A very interesting observation. Let's go to adjectives. And what have we got here? How about istotny, which is like important or essential? I think, again, the second word is a little closer. The opposite is nieistotny, so unimportant, not essential. It's very similar to the word ważny that you may remember from the beginner flashcard deck. Ważny, important, the simplest word of this sort. And the word istotny, essential, is more general than cenny, precious, and znaczny, significant or substantial. Perhaps I like this word, światowy, worldwide or global. There can be a global religion, global plot, a global secret plan. We've got the related adverb, globalnie, globally. And another word to say globalny would be to say światowy. The word świat means the world. And we've got the derived adjective here. Perhaps one more. Right next to it, uczony. Do you remember the word from the A1 flashcard deck, uczyć się, to learn, uczyć, to teach? And you may think, it's just a derived participle. It's just a derived adjective kind of word. Uczony, learned. But just like in English, a learned person, when you hear that expression, you think about a professor, a scholar. And that's exactly the same thing. That's exactly the same in Polish. Well, perhaps not exactly, but it's very, very close. So a person who has received a thorough or a very, very deep education. He has a very good knowledge of a certain domain, of a certain field. We've got a collocation, uczony człowiek, a learned man. Of course, it's related to the action of uczyć się, to learn. And still, it's more specific than the word wykształcony, educated. If someone is educated, yeah, that means that person has received education, but we cannot specify the exact level of that education. Uczony means knowledgeable, learned, well educated. Okay, highly educated, as we learned from the English definition, and it's an adjective of quality. Now, adverbs. And let's use ostatecznie, ultimately, finally. It's based on the adjective ostateczny, final, or ultimate. It's more specific than całkowicie, totally, completely, entirely, or zupełnie, a very, very similar word. So it also means completely or altogether. And base adjective is ostateczny, and it is also related to the adverb ostatecznie, finally. Let me find something interesting, something original in here. Oh, this one, wszędzie, very general. W każdym miejscu, in every possible place, all over, everywhere. So it's the opposite of nigdzie, nowhere. And it's more general, okay? Everywhere is more general than naokoło, around or all around. Perhaps I should consider specifying this word as all around, not just around. Actually, I have already written it in the definition. All around or on all sides, naokoło. Okay, what is left in the miscellaneous group? Well, you've got words that I found hard to qualify, hard to include in any of the groups, even though I think gradually I'll try to further lower the number of other miscellaneous or it's not really uncategorized, because you can see I categorize them as conjunctions, exclamations. You see a borrowing, public relations, which is more specific than wizerunek, image of something like a brand. We've got expressions like na własny rachunek, which is related to running a company, for example, independently, on one's own, samodzielnie, okay, independently, single-handedly. All right, we've got, like I said, words related to communication, halo, which is like hello, but only when you want to initiate a phone conversation. We've got complicated grammatical terms. I'm not saying it's the most important thing, but it's also included because it is featured in the Hurra po polsku textbook at the A2 level. We've got exclamations like ojej, oh dear, and many, many more. Oh, and I have just thought about one more thing. Let's see if I can find an example. Great. Silny jak koń, idioms. I believe that at the level B1, this becomes a very important point. Figurative expressions, idiomatic expressions, but you can catch a couple of these at the A2 level as well. So metaphorical language, strong like a horse. So that's a Polish idiom that means someone is really strong and physically healthy. We see that it's kind of a value of someone's physical conditions, fitness, shape, all right? So I to be honest, I did not think about idioms as a separate group before. That's a topic studied within fields called lexicogramma or phraseology. I'm not sure about the pronunciation of that term, but let's leave it. So here in the last group, we have just got 126 items. It's below 5% that I included in the miscellaneous group. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next video. Have a good day and never stop learning languages. And that includes the Polish language. Bye bye.